Yeah.
I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won.
Yeah.
I hope my team they won.
Yeah. Man.
I hope my team they won. I hope my team they won.
Yeah.
I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We got the Indy report right now, and I have to get my graphics on snuff, man. So how you guys doing? I'm David Rhodes, and I have Tariq Wilson with me today from the HBCU Pirate Ship. How you doing, Reek?
Fabulous, man. It's about as good as a Pirate fan can get this week, man. Homecoming week coming up. And the last glorious win at G-Hope.
Yeah, the glorious win for y'all, man. It was demise for us to the point where we had some tense press conferences.
Oh man,
on Monday after the game. It was like you can like I was watching it. You can just see the tenseness in the room, you know. But we'll get into that. Let me run through the intro real fast. Welcome to episode 570 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports from institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture and HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, David L. Rhodes, along with my co-host, Tariq Wilson. Shout out to Dr. Cavil with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop as well. We are filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to our KCOH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Fame, Ralph Cooper, in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. So, man, what's the news of the day? You got anything interesting for the day, or any games that you watch over the weekend outside of what happened to my beloved Aggies this weekend during GHO?
No news. I mean, really, I unfortunately, I couldn't even watch the game live because of life. Life was busy that weekend. So, only other game I watched was Elon in Albany, and I have some thoughts about that for what might be coming on for the Pirates way. But at this point, I don't really have news that I could think of.
All right. Well,
I've been basking in this win, man. That's all I've been worried about.
Yeah, I can understand why you were basking in this win, sir. It's not exactly.
They don't come along often. These don't happen often. Like, I've learned this as I'm getting older. Like, winning season games like this, you better enjoy it, because it don't happen often.
You trying to tell me? Our coach is 2-16.
Oh,
you ain't got to tell me, sir.
With 4 more years to go, baby.
That's what the contract says, at least. Shout out to Google's partnering with HBCUs to advance AI sports reporting. Thanks to 100,000 contribution from Google, Morgan State University School of Global Journalism and Communication has partnered with JR Sport Brief Productions to advance sports coverage and news reporting through the use of artificial intelligence. This innovative research and development effort will explore how AI can streamline and bring greater efficiencies to traditional sports journalism by creating automated post-game content such as box scores and video news reports. The research and performance testing of the AI-based enhancements will be conducted jointly by way of a unique interdisciplinary effort between SGJC Center for the Study of Race and Culture in Sports and the HBCU Center for Equitable AI and Machine Learning Systems. Did
you know that Google's chief diversity officer is a pirate?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, global. So yeah, she's really dedicated to the HBCU. So hopefully she has something to do with that. But she does a good job.
Yeah. So it's funny you say that. So I went to the College of Engineering in McNair Hall at A&T. So typically during homecoming we have this big luncheon on Friday. For the College of Engineering, they bring all the alumni, comes back, we chop it up, we get free, we eat, we get a gift. It's pretty dope event, pretty great event. And typically they do this thing called a lobby day. We have a lobby day there, so a company can just stay at the lobby, and they pretty much get all the students. And funny enough, Google was the company for lobby day for GHO this weekend. And I know that's a exclusive spot to have, because you get more students then than you can imagine, because the students get to eat, the alumni get to eat, get to chop it up with the alums. So, it's a pretty good event. I've been going to it for such a long time. So it's kind of funny you mentioned that. Google is very involved from a diversity standpoint when it comes to AI and when it comes to recruiting our students. So shout out to Google in regards to that. But I want to get into this game, so we're gonna take a break. I'll go through the comments. Shout out to Chuck Hunt, that's in the building, and shout out to Edwin Moore, and shout out to AJ, man. Yeah, man, we always have a great day. It was GHO weekend. It was a phenomenal weekend. Maybe I'll talk to you about that too, but in the middle of talking about the game. But we will be back right after this break, and when we return, we're going to discuss A&T versus Hampton and Tennessee State versus Howard. So we'll discuss those two games when we return from the break.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cavil Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cavil.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up message quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is Ryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, the Indy Report. All right, so we'll start with A&T and Hampton, because I'm going to get the torture out the way immediately. But I mean, overall for GHO, it was a phenomenal weekend. I got there Wednesday night. Thursday, I had an esports event. I told this, I pretty much put a call out. Whoever could beat me in Street Fighter 6, they'll get a prize. So I did that. Only had to give away one prize. You know, they got some pretty good players, I will say. And then, I had Stevie Wonder was there. So I got to enjoy Stevie Wonder. Thursday
at least
night.
you have to watch that game.
Yeah, we'll get to the game. Yeah, well, he couldn't see it anyway.
That was a bad dad joke right there. Bad.
It was.
Bad.
Yeah, he can't see anyway. He wouldn't be able to see the game.
That's what I'm saying. He had to watch it.
Yeah, that was but I'll tell you what, that was a phenomenal show. We have to protect Stevie at all costs. Friday was the engineering event. We had the whole that whole deal with the engineering event and my computer science event. Got to talk to some of the students and chop it up with some of the students that were currently there. Gave one of my former colleagues, college mates, a rib because he's a professor now. He out here giving out midterms during homecoming week, and his joke was, "Well, we're here on the greatest homecoming on earth, so I had to give the greatest midterm on earth."
Nice.
So and the students were still smiling because someone was with us on the tour when we toured around the new Martin building because they named the engineering building after him before he retired. So, but that was good. I had the Chancellor Circle event, got to meet the new chancellor, which was pretty good. Then we get to Saturday. I got to campus around 6:30 in the morning. Had breakfast with the bros, with the brothers, tailgated. Then I walked over to the game. I got there in the state. I got to Aggie Stadium. The score was 14-0, and I was feeling pretty good. And then I saw 24 unanswered points before halftime, and I kind of knew what was coming after that. I'll be honest with you. I didn't see no progression with regards to what we were doing. So after halftime, I tailed out. I was gone. And so the thing about GHO when you're on the campus, about a little after halftime, and at that point anyway, there's no cell reception. And so you kind of didn't know what the score was until it was announced that the final
they
score was
announced it? Oh, what happened?
because there's a DJ. So like because I'm over by the plots. So there's a DJ that pretty much is set up over there with a stage and the whole ordeal. Sometimes we have surprise performances over there and whatever. And so the DJ announced the score, and there was a unanimous, and I can't say it on Dr. Cavil's show, but let's just say you can imagine what was said when they announced the score 59-17.
What?
So it was bad. I went back and looked through the game. You guys scored like 21 points in like less than 3 minutes, which was insane. But there was one play that described the Vincent Brown era to me. And that play was, y'all were up 45-17 at this point in the fourth quarter. And y'all just scored, and you kicked the ball off to us. My guy took the ball, caught it bobbled it at the 1, put it in the end zone, and said, "Nah, I'm good." Having no awareness that was a live ball. There was another Aggie that was aware that was a live ball, but he couldn't get there before the Hampton guy, and the Hampton guy recovered, and it was a touchdown. And that was 52-17 at that point. And I think that was the point where everybody just left. And it didn't help that as soon as we got the ball back, Fomby threw a pick 6 to make it 59-17. So it was bad. Like, it was all facets bad. There was nothing good that came out of it after we took the 14-0 lead. It was a tough watch. I don't know if you went back to watch the game.
I did. Watched it twice.
I know you enjoyed it, huh?
Yeah, I might watch it one more time.
No, I'm not watching it again. Let me be clear. I'm not watching it again. It's hey, Brandon, if you want to come in, man, I'll let you in, bro. I can send you the link. I got your numbers. I can send you a link. Just let me know. But matter of fact, I will. If he wants to hop, if he can hop in, he can hop in. I do things kind of on the cuff around here, if y'all ain't figured that out.
Yeah, we're agile, man. We're agile.
I try to be.
Hey, one other thing, man. Did you party at all during GHO?
After the game, we went to the bonfire. We had a bonfire. Yeah. There's a farm right next to the A&T's farm. I learned this while I was at the bonfire. And I guess there's a private owner of a farm right next to A&T's university farm. And they set up a whole bonfire there. And I got some outstanding pictures from that bonfire, man. It was fun. I had a blast. Because everybody was talking about it last year, and I was like, I got to see what the hype is. Because them tickets were not. I think the tickets start at $35, and it got all the way up to like $140 or $130.
Wow.
Like it was progressive. The price progressively got higher. But it was a phenomenal event. Open bar, food trucks, phenomenal event.
Excellent.
So, yeah, it was a phenomenal event. And the thing is, man, I'll be honest, now that I'm older, I don't really go to non-university parties. I think it was considered a university thing. It's not a university sanctioned event, but Next Level Entertainment, they're Aggies. There's a lot of them are Aggies. So, they do a really good job. from that standpoint. So I went to that event. Like I'll go to those events, but I rarely go out to parties. It was my fraternity's 20th, so we had to go out, had to do something. So that was the one. So it was a phenomenal event. It was a phenomenal homecoming outside of the game. So overall, I can't complain too much about the weekend, but the game was just rough. Like, I mean, and that press conference that following day, my man, was tense.
Yeah, please tell us about that. Well, I just want to say, like, there were a lot of Pirates out. I wish I could have gone, but the Pirates really put together some nice things to go along with G-Ho. So we were there well represented too. So the Pirates felt the love as well. So I wish I was there, but it seemed like a really good atmosphere. It was
a phenomenal atmosphere. I saw a lot of Pirates, some of them came on the plot. Some of the Sigmas and Zetas came on the plot, and we greeted them. We gave them some jokes because they stayed, for the game. But
of course,
yeah. So they made it there from that aspect. But overall, man, it was good seeing a lot of the Pirates there. I don't know what the plan's gonna be for next year for homecoming because I'm pretty sure we're going to your place. But if y'all do end up,
you can't bring your band either.
You want our band, man. Our band. You want our band, man. You want our band.
Hey,
some of the jokes was y'all should have let them bring the band. I'm like, the band couldn't help what I saw. I could tell you that right now.
I have to say, man, I of the past 10 years since I've been living here in North Kakalaki, I've been to a ton of HBCU games. Blue and Gold, that's the best. They put on the best performances like I've seen in recent times. So they're good. So I wish y'all should come to our homecoming. I mean, we got to get our stuff together, man.
Look, man, listen, I tell folks all the time when it comes to the Blue and Gold Marching Machine, when it comes to the field show, there's nobody doing a better field show than them.
No.
And it's not my bias showing. I mean, it's just what we see. And that's why when they did the Band of the Year competition, I knew they were going to win because nobody else is going to have a better built field show than us. But overall, man, that was a rough game to watch. Tennessee State and Howard. Tennessee State spoiled a homecoming too. They spoiled Howard's homecoming. Final score was 24-14, if I recall. Pretty sure that was the final score. And from what I understand, the score doesn't. I guess it was it could have been worse from what I understand. It was 27-14. Excuse me. Yeah, it was 27-14. I stand corrected.
Yep.
Draylen Ellis threw for almost 300 yards, 289 yards. But he did run for a touchdown. He had 28 yards rushing. He ran one for a touchdown. Jay McGill was their leading rusher with 43 yards and a touchdown. Howard really couldn't get anything going in the passing game. Only 33 yards passing in that game.
33, wow.
Yeah. Jared Hunter did his thing, man. Shout out to Jared Hunter. He's a phenomenal running back. He had 15 carries for 102 yards and a touchdown. Eden James got a touchdown as well. It seemed like the fact that they couldn't get a passing game going was discouraging to say the least.
That was I don't understand Howard. We talked about it on our podcast, the HU Pirate Ship podcast this week.
Good plug.
Just trying to understand Howard and their letdown here. Like they shouldn't get beat like this at their homecoming against Tennessee State. But it seems like every now and then Howard just doesn't care.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just don't think Howard's as good as they were last year, right? Like you guys have been making a habit of beating them, but like they won the MEAC they're back-to-back MEAC champs. So
back-to-back, that's kind of hard to imagine that. But
yeah, they're back-to-back. Look, the running joke I've always had is when A&T left the conference, Howard has started to run amok, and that's what they have because they've been very successful, and not just football. They've been doing it in basketball, track, everything. They're golf, anything that they like running amok. Like I think the only thing that they haven't gotten their handle on yet is tennis. But other than that, they've been winning championships pretty much everywhere. If they don't win it this year, they'll win it the next year. Ever since A&T and left the conference, they've been running them up. They've been getting those commissioner trophies.
Yeah, they can still get it together once conference play starts. It's kind of wild to think that conference play starts this week for the MEAC, but they can get it together.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't think there's gonna be anybody who's gonna beat that school down the road. I don't know,
but every now and then with his team, it's a letdown. That's the only way.
I mean, I could I could see a scenario where South Carolina State clips them in Orangeburg. I could see that scenario. But outside of that, the concern then is whether or not South Carolina State can take care of business for all the other conference games. But I could see, because Orangeburg is a house of horrors for the North Carolina schools, not just A&T. The school down the road struggles there too. So it'll be interesting. I believe Davis Richard never beat South Carolina State in Orangeburg. So, it's a house of horrors. So I'll talk about this presser. I'll go back to the A&T show. I got a message from Brandon. Brandon's going to try to make it in the next segment. So Monday, we do a weekly press conference on Monday. It's pretty much like a luncheon. So you can come, you pay your money, you get lunch, you get to see the press conference. Typically 2 players are also there, and they get to ask questions to those 2 particular players. But a question was asked about, if you look at what you've done so far as the head coach and look at your record and everything that comes with it, do you still think you're the best guy for the job? And with no hesitation, Coach Brown said absolutely. And then you can hear in the background the AD saying me too. So from my perspective, that tells me that you have attached yourself to the hip of him, which is expected, right? Because you made this hire. You're the last one left of who made this hire. So of course you're gonna have to rock with him, and that's fine. And the AD has had a lot of success here since he's been the AD. We've won a lot of championships, including some national championships with him as the AD. So he's got a pretty good record from this standpoint. This one, but he's getting some of the heat, and rightfully so, about this hire. Nobody knows the full story of everything. I know there's a town hall scheduled for next week with the AD. So that's going to be, you want to talk about another tense meeting. I plan on, and it's going to be right before this show. So that will probably be a little bit of a segment for this show. Like it starts at 6. I'm hoping it ends at 7. It probably won't. So I'll probably have to make my exit to go live on this show. And we can definitely have a discussion point about what I heard within the first hour. And I'm going to probably try to find a way to capture this the following hour. I'll figure that out between now and next week. But from the standpoint of that presser, I mean, it was a lot of questions about it. And I'll roll with. So I mentioned about this. I'm laughing at the fact that A&T Roy calls it Earth's HBCU, because they be calling Howard America's HBCU, so that's a little, But so shout out to Lennon. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm never rooting for somebody to get fired. But that being said, he still has 4 years left on his contract. It's gonna be tough. I think the buyout's over is like $1.4 million. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Can I tell you what I heard? And I don't know what is true, but I was talking to somebody who's well placed in Durham Monday, and we were talking about this game, and he said the phones have been burning up ever since that, before the game was over, with prominent Aggies. And he mentioned a couple names, and he was like, he said, don't say the names, but these are people that can make phone calls to just about anybody at the university, and people are really upset. And if they could have fired him at that game, they would have fired him at that game. And the only thing that's really that's stopping this whole process is the money. And so people are really feverishly looking for the money to take care of the Vincent Brown situation. But from my perspective, from what I've heard, and just he's a dead man walking. So this is not, it's not salvageable. He may play out the string just because of finances. But it's as soon as they can find the money, as soon as there's an amicable resolution here, he's gone. I mean, Hampton was in a similar place with their coach last year. He still was under contract too, not under the same money, but they found a way. So Aggie's going to find a way. And if what I heard is true too, this person said that one of the problems is that they're still paying the previous coach.
That's not true. I will say that. That's not accurate. So they paid the previous coach last year. So when they moved on from Coach Washington, they had a 1 year out. So they had to pay 1 year of his salary. And they paid that last year.
All right, well that's good to know.
Yeah, they
I
paid that
mean,
last. So we paid almost $700,000 for one win last year.
woo.
That's the
Man.
way I look at it, because you had to pay
Okay.
him and you had to pay the new coach. So we paid almost $700,000 last year for one win.
All right, that's good to know.
Yeah.
But I think it's over.
Oh, I mean, it's close, bro. Like, because for me, it's now I think it's over from the fan base standpoint. Like,
Yes.
my thing has been this. I think in Durham a few weeks ago, he lost the casual fan base. On Saturday, he lost the diehard fan base.
Mm-hmm.
So the diehards were patient. Like, we broke the record on season ticket sales this year after our 1-win season. Right? It's higher than it was then. Like, we sold more season tickets than we did during the Celebration Roll run. So
there's good news though. There's good news. Maybe we can talk about that later. But I think there is a silver lining for the Aggies. I mean, we've talked about this before, and we talked about this on the HU Pirate ship, where during a press conference he said a couple eye-raising things. Man, like that's why I was like, I don't know about this guy, but I think he's got to change his recruiting perspective. Like, he's got to get different kind of guys. Like, the guys on the field aren't good enough. And the way the transfer portal works, he can get them, but he has to have a different idea of the kind of guy what he wants from a student athlete perspective and just an athletic perspective. Like, look at Stony Brook. They were terrible last year. I think they got a new coach. They went to the portal big. Now they're winning. So like, this can be solved, if my man gets a different perspective on the kind of guys he wants.
And the thing that makes it difficult to watch is because you see something about like a Stony Brook. Stony Brook went winless last year.
Yeah.
And the turnaround that they had, right? And then you look at what happened to you guys. You guys let your coach go weeks before the season, like after spring camp, right? Y'all let your coach go. You brought in, and you had Boykin that was already on the staff. Boykin comes in as an interim coach, and you guys have been playing tough for the majority of the season.
Yep.
And then you take the interim tag off him, and he's doing great. So I think we have to. So that's the perspectives that I'm walking on right now. Like, I'm making all these comparisons for that reason. Even like a U Albany, the year before that, they were terrible, and then all of a sudden here they come, right? Like, you can make these turnarounds fast. So I tell some pockets of the Aggie faithful is that if you're impatient, if you feel like you're being patient, if there's nothing wrong with being patient, but there's nothing wrong with making somebody accountable too, because we're seeing all these other turnarounds from these other teams.
Right.
So like,
now, is there anything that he's shown you? Because he knows football, but is there anything that he's shown you that with that talent he can get them right and get some W's?
The Richmond game gave me some level of encouragement, but it's not going to solve anything because we just don't have the bodies for the trench play.
Yeah,
and he's not willing to adjust. And I think there might be some aspects where he's willing to adjust a little bit. I think we'll play a little bit more stout on defense, but I think him and his defensive staff is very connected to that 3-4. And our sack leader has announced that he's going to the portal, and he's not going to be playing any more games this year.
That's happening a lot. One thing, like when I watched the replay, A&T guys kind of quit. Understandably so, these are kids, but those guys they didn't even want to tackle in the second half. Like, they were diving at feet, like, hey, get me out of here. I mean, so that it's a competitive standpoint. Like, I don't even know if they're listening to him. It's
tough, bro. Like,
the plays you mentioned, 28 points in fourth quarter in G-Ho, like, there was no pride.
But I mean, it could be a situation too where, like, a lot of a chunk of the crowd left around the same time that I left, but they really left after that play with the fumble and the touchdown at the kickoff. Like, that pretty much cleared the stands at that point. Yeah, but it's a tough place to be, and I know the AD's probably trying to calm the field too, and rightfully so. But all I've been telling my Aggie faithful is just get ready for basketball season, guys. We have our Lady Aggies have a legitimate shot to win the CAA. They were picked to win the conference in women's basketball this year. So I think our volleyball team's being competitive right now. I just think we need to just go ahead and strap up for basketball season. Basketball season starts in a couple weeks. So we just need to go ahead. Like, I think we have some games that we have a legitimate shot to win. I talked about it on Sunday's show, on Dr. Cavil's show, about if there's any teams that there's a possibility that we can probably do it. I think if we do get a win, it's going to be on the road. I'll be honest with you. We tend to play better on the road than we do at home, as you saw on Saturday. We almost beat a top 25 team prior to the bye, just like you guys almost beat a top 25 team, but we just came out flat, and then we just didn't want to show up in the second half. But it was tough. And the crazy thing is, like last year when I went to homecoming, I stuck around for A&T Townsend because I felt like those guys. Like, one thing I will say about last year's team, their offense was atrocious for most of the year, for particularly the first half of the year, but they played with heart. They didn't quit until it was over. And I'm not seeing that same type of fervor, well, whatever word you want to say. I don't fervor. Yes. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that this season.
Are there any of Washington's guys left, or like all these are?
Yeah, there's still some Washington guys left on the roster.
Okay,
but I see things like Karan Prunty, right? I think Karan Prunty is an NFL cornerback. I think he should make the league. But I think where they're utilizing him is not where they should be utilizing. He got
out there this weekend.
Yeah, he was out there this weekend.
Dang.
Yeah, he was out there this weekend. And the thing is, I think they're not utilizing his talent, in my opinion. And they haven't been all season. I believe that you should be putting him against whoever the opponent's best wide receiver, and he should be shadowing that guy the entire day.
Well, you know what will help him is a pass rush.
And we ain't got one of those, bro.
Right, that's you can't cover all day.
One of our space eaters that was supposed to be one of our best transfers, he got hurt in the Wake Forest game. I don't believe he's played since. And then on top of that, we got to remember we're playing our backup quarterback. We're down to our third running back. We had more injuries during this game. So we got a lot of injuries, to say the least. We got a lot of true freshmen playing, a lot of true freshmen starting. So so on top of the fact that I don't think they're scheming the players properly and they're not utilizing the talents of them, particularly defensively. I think the offense has improved significantly over last year, but when you have like 5 or 6 consecutive games not throwing 400 yards, I mean, there's nowhere to go but up, right?
Right.
But when you take all those things into account, I feel like defensively we should be better. And considering that defensively that's his bread and butter, you would think he would have adjusted to something to leverage the talent of the players that he has, and he has not done that. Yeah, see, A&T Roy got it because he got the numbers. Yeah, 30 of them are true freshmen or redshirt sophomores. So, yeah. So half the team's Brown, half the team is Coach Wash. So
need some grad transfers, a whole lot of them next year, man. Y'all should if he's back, y'all should.
He's got to change his philosophy about the portal.
Yeah, he's got to load up, man.
He's got to load up. He's got to go for broke. And Lennon, I'll answer this for you, man. I will tell you that I have a reliable source in that A&T has not been talking to the conference office about coming back to the MEAC as a football only institution. I can't speak for Tennessee State, but I can speak for A&T that I don't think that's accurate at all.
No,
and shout out to Scotty. Happening. I think Scotty does phenomenal work, and I think he does a really good job entertaining folks when it comes to that. But I will go on record and saying that is not accurate based on it from A&T's perspective.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Nah. The running joke I have is take and see how bad our football team is, right? Like, look at how bad the football team is right now. 2-16 since we've gone into the CAA. We haven't won a conference game yet. It has to be like that for pretty much all the sports before we consider going back to the MEAC conference, I think, in my opinion. And It's not. We've been competitive in multiple sports. So I don't think that's going to happen. All right. So you got anything else before we go to our next break? Next break, we'll talk about the games for next week.
No, not much, man. It was a great win by the Pirates at G-Ho. I guess got to say it one more time, man.
When you win by 42, of course it's a great win. And for those that ain't figured it out yet, A&T lost the Aggie Eagle Classic by 42, and we lost G-Ho by 42.
Gosh.
Yeah. So, like I said, lost the casual fans in Durham, lost the diehard fans in Greensboro.
Was that Vincent Brown's number or something? Like there's something.
No, it wasn't. I think it was 59. He was in Tecmo Bowl, you know.
Yeah, ready, down, cut.
Yeah, man. He was in Tecmo Bowl, man.
Wow.
And he was an all-pro. There's the reason why they called him the Undertaker. He was an all-pro.
Yeah,
phenomenal player in the
he
NFL.
knows football. He knows the game.
Absolutely.
But that ain't the whole thing.
All right, so we'll be right back at this break, and we'll talk about the games of the week from Hampton A&T's perspective. I believe Tennessee State is on a bye.
Hey, grab me one too.
This is Ryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any traveler you want to be.
You could be a free hot breakfast hero at a comfort hotel.
Yes!
That's how you waffle.
Mr. This Script got a plot twist at a Radisson hotel.
A business big leaguer.
Go for key.
Even the ultimate pool float inflator.
With 22 brands and the best value for your money, Choice Hotels has a stay for any you. Book direct at choicehotels.com, where travels come true.
Gotta get the corners.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Compress the analytic data with your hip-hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome to Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, and we have our third partner in crime, man, Mr. King. What's up, sir?
What's going on, good brothers? How y'all doing this evening?
I'm doing okay. I know you're
great.
happy. You out here spoiling homecomings.
Well, I am walking around with my chest poked out a little bit more these days, man. It was a good win. And the thing about it, I was telling some friends of mine, and even when I did my preview over at sneakershoptalk.com, you should go check it out. But when I was like, it's hard to, that game was somewhat hard to predict because you don't know what Howard you're gonna get. Are you gonna get good Howard? Are you gonna get bad Howard? If you get good one, then you got a fight on your hands. But if you get the worst version of the Bisons, then there's a high possibility you're gonna leave out of there with a win. And like I said, you've already touched on some of it, but 33 yards passing, a couple of turnovers, and really being one-dimensional. And even within that, it was really Jared Hunter and them, as far as from an offensive standpoint. They just could not generate really enough offense to win that game. And like you said earlier, it really could have been worse.
Mm-hmm. It definitely could have
been worse. You should have made it worse. No mercy now.
I'm gonna be honest. I am pro run up the score. I have no problem with that.
I don't need to hear this.
Because here's the thing: if you don't want a team to score 80 and celebrate on your logo, and stop them.
Stop them.
Gotta do.
I will say this: I love the fact you talk about running up the score, and we got to play you guys August 30th next year at the John Merritt Classic. So I don't like you. I don't like hearing stuff like that. All right.
Luckily, though, our coach is classy. He's not the type to do that. He would call off the dogs when it became pretty apparent it was over.
I don't think Hampton tried to run up the score. I just think A&T just quit.
21 points in less than 3 minutes, bro. Like it's about the boneheaded decisions. Like that pick six, very avoidable. Like pick six off a screen pass, man. Like that is can't do that. Can't do that.
Why are you calling a screen pass at that point?
Well, I mean, you can say the same thing about what happened to us against them boys down in Durham too. We were out here calling some crazy plays there too.
Yeah.
The reason why that score got as high as it did is because of all the mistakes that were made.
Yeah. Oh man, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, and he tried to defend it. That's the wild part. He tried to defend the decisions they was making during that game at the time. But there was a more humble, like I said, it was more humbling press conference. But I know Tennessee State has a bye this weekend, right?
Yes. Yes.
Y'all got 2 weeks to prepare for UT Martin.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's a big game. For those who don't know, Tennessee State right now is currently second place in the OVC. So if they win out, they win the conference. Because you get first place too. So you got a golden opportunity here to win the OVC here. So this should be a fun time for you guys.
And looking at their schedule, the games are winnable. I think. I know Martin did beat them last year, and it's going to be a tough game. But I think that's going to be winnable. And the rest of their games. Now, SEMO might be a bit of a problem. The last time we played them, I think it was in 22. It got ugly. It got ugly fast. And but like I said, they've got a great opportunity in front of them. Like I said, we're 6-2 last year, and the wheels kind of fell off toward the end of the season. And I was at the last game, and it really looked like the way you said that you thought A&T kind of phoned it in. I think that last game, I don't know, their minds was on wherever, because it was not on the football game. It looked like they were half asleep. So this is the time, like I said, and adding the fact that they're ranked, the program has been trending in the right direction. And like I said, I asked Coach George, did he think that potentially this could be finally that chance for them to finally break through, because we thought they were going to turn that corner last year, and they didn't. And right now, you're in the same opportunity, if not in a better position, to finally really move the program for them to take that really big next step. So this is a pivotal. I'm going to lump the bye weekend. This is a pivotal 5 weeks, I think.
No, I'm with you there. Let's get into the 2 games we have before we take a quick break and close out the show. If I have time for the final break, we're going to see, because we got about 15 more minutes. So A&T's playing Campbell this weekend at Campbell's homecoming. I'm hoping that we can spoil them. We tend to play well on the road, but they have a legitimate quarterback in Chad Mascot a second. He threw for 4 touchdowns last week against William & Mary. So I think if we can, I think the strongest point of our defense is the secondary. We don't have a good front seven. That's clear unless they make some legitimate adjustments. So we might have a golden opportunity here. If they can run on us, it's going to be another long day. And like Fabi is a gunslinger type of quarterback for A&T. So I need the Fabi from Richmond and not the Fabi from Hampton this upcoming weekend. If we get the Fabi from Richmond, we might have a shot to pull the upset and win this game. What are your thoughts, Reek? What are your thoughts?
I think it's going to be tough for A&T. I think Campbell's, for all their faults, they're a really big, strong team.
Mm-hmm.
And, if and when they get that run game going, it's going to snowball from there. But the Campbell's defense, you can do some things with their defense. So I think that's where you guys got a chance. But I think at the end of the day, you might get worn down. But this will be a good game to get healthy and at least show for A&T, show that they can compete and they got some dudes. I mean, I know they got some pride. So they probably watched that film and were embarrassed. So they'll come out and give it a good fight. But I think they'll get worn down over time. They're just not big enough. They're too small.
Dude, but listen, man, there's only 2 games I think we got a shot to win. Is this one in Elon and maybe Townsend, but I'm not even ready to convince myself about Townsend yet. But what's your thoughts, Brandon?
Yeah, my concern for y'all is really, can you score enough points? And then like it's already been touched on, can you stop the run?
Yeah.
If you can't do one, the other one might not matter.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
we need to do both.
Campbell, they're gonna let you score though. That's the good news. Campbell defense, they don't seem to play too much defense this year, so you can move the ball, but y'all ain't gonna be able to stop them.
Yeah, that's the concern I got. But you guys got a chance to win. Y'all playing Elon. I don't know what's going on with Elon.
Yeah, I mean they've got the worst offense in the conference. So I think if our defense actually, because our defenses sometimes they just fall asleep too. But I think that if we can keep their offense last and not turn the ball over, because their defense is good. Elon's defense, I watched the game the other day where they beat Albany, and they got this big dude in the middle from Durham. I mean, I don't know how he got out of Durham, but he was making tackles by himself in the backfield. Nice swim move, bang. So he controls the whole middle of the field, and everything relies on him. So he's going to make some plays against Hampton. I just hope that, it's the same quarterback thing. Jeff and I on our podcast, like we are big fans of Mays. We're not fans of Zealous because he's going to give you a couple opportunities to turn it over. Ironically, Mays committed the first turnover, but Mays, he's throwing the ball well. And, so he's going to keep defenses honest. So if he just keeps them honest, combine it with the running game, we'll be okay. But if they got to pass and start doing crazy stuff, we're going to lose.
What are your thoughts, Brandon?
How is Elon against the run? I'll admit I haven't looked at.
Good. They're good. Their D-line is big, strong.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, like I think I want to remind folks that this Elon team beat those boys in Durham earlier this year. But after talking to Zach from the Blue Bloods, he pretty much told me that this is not the same Elon team that beat those guys down the road earlier this season.
What, they got injuries or what's the problem?
I don't know, but he just said it's not the same team. I don't know if something happened. I have no idea. Like I'll be honest, I haven't watched that much Elon, so I don't know.
And for their offense to be last, that's peculiar. I mean, that's hard to do, especially for Elon. I haven't seen them be that bad in offense the whole time I've been down here watching football, so that's shocking. But we'll have to lose this game. You know what I'm saying? We should win this one. I mean, we had a great game against A&T. We had Rhode Island. We had 14 points on them in the fourth quarter. Now they're like the 16th ranked team. So we're trending in the right direction. So hopefully, if this is, like we said, if they're serious about playing and being a competitor, they'll win.
Yeah, I think it'll be important for you all to get off to a quick start, because if Elon is offensively challenged, like you say, you get up a couple scores, then you have the opportunity from a defensive standpoint to kind of put them in situations that they're not comfortable with. And anytime, as you know, you get a team doing things that they're uncomfortable with or don't want to do, that opens more opportunities for your defense to create turnovers, create more points, and put them even in a bigger hole. So I would say if y'all get up by 10, 14 points, it could be problems for Elon.
Yeah.
Let's hope. I mean, the offense is rolling. Like, the offense can move the ball this year, so that should happen. Just those turnovers, man.
That's gonna be the key.
Absolutely.
That's gonna be the key. But I got you guys beating Elon, man. I'll be honest.
Me too. Me too.
All right, so let's take one more break, close out the show, and we'll be right back. I'm gonna try to make this one quick. Let's see if I can. Let's see, do I have a short one? Yeah, I got something I can do. All right, we're gonna make this one pretty quick, so we'll be right back after this break.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and Sunshine Anderson. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app that brings Eatonville's legacy to life from your phone. Enjoy family-friendly STEM activities and explore over 80 unique vendors. Please don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets or to become a vendor. We'll see you in Eatonville, the oldest Black incorporated municipality in the country.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Let's any final thoughts before I go ahead and do the outro?
I'm interested in seeing this town hall. Like I'm surprised your AD gonna submit himself. To this. Like why?
One thing I will always give Earl Hilton credit for, AD Earl Hilton credit for, is that he's not afraid to go in front of the alumni and explain why the decisions were made. He's never been afraid of that. When we made the jump from the Big South to the CAA within a year, he went up there and he answered questions for 2 hours about why and explained it, and he had no problem doing it. So I commend him from that standpoint. So I've been through that rodeo with him before. So I don't think that's gonna be a problem. Like, it's gonna be fascinating. Like I said, I'm definitely gonna be dialed in to see how this goes, because the bottom line is he knows that the Aggie faithful isn't happy. And I think folks got to realize Dr. Hilton's been at the university since 2000. He's been there for 24 years. He got hired into athletics and he went to student affairs for a period of time and he became the AD. So he's been on the yard for a very long time. So he knows how the alumni are. He probably had to deal with tougher ones when he first got there. So I think from that standpoint, I think he knows what the job is. He understands the challenges that are ahead. He knew that it was going to be tough sledding when we moved to the CAA as fast as we did. He warned the board of trustees and the chancellor that it's going to be rough. He warned them before they approved to make the move.
But you know what, though? I mean, that's fair, right? But there are some natural challenges with making that move. But this one, he just hired the wrong guy.
Yeah,
like, that's his fault.
Yeah. Like, and the thing is, he's not ready to admit that he hired the wrong guy yet. And I get it, rightfully so. It's hard for folks to admit that they're wrong so soon in the process. But 2 years in, man, the coach is 2-16, and we got 5 more games to go.
And who are the 2 wins against?
Winston-Salem State this year and Norfolk State last year.
So 2 Division II teams.
No, Norfolk State is Division I. They're in the MEAC.
Two Division II.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You're so disrespectful.
I set that up, boy. I set that one up. Boy.
You're so disrespectful. Any last thoughts? Brandon?
Yeah, and I guess my first one is a question: will the town hall be live streamed or anywhere where us non-Aggies can check it out?
It's a Zoom link. I'll send it to you.
Okay. And then I had another question, and this may be something we may have to table since I know we're pressed for time for another show. But since both of your schools have came and come out of the Big South, and that is the school or the conference in which my school currently resides, Watching it from 1,000 miles away, I feel like there was something that they may have known that we don't know.
Well,
the reason why y'all jumped in and jumped out so quickly.
Well, remember, right? Hampton, CAA was always the goal for Hampton for the previous regime, right? Now, as for A&T, when we did the study back in 2015 and got the study back, that was a recommendation to go to the CAA. But it didn't make any sense from a financial standpoint during that period of time because they didn't have divisions. But then when you started adding more institutions and it kind of made more sense from a cost standpoint, because you remember, like, I think folks focus on football, but in like all the other sports, UNC Wilmington doesn't play football. You know what I'm saying? You added Campbell, so you pretty much got all these in-state schools. College of Charleston don't play football, right? I mean, yes, they have to do at least one plane ride a year for a road game. Like they'll fly up to do to New York or to Boston if they got to fly those games or whatever. But that's what they do. It's just one flight. I talked to the baseball coach. He said the only flight I had the first season was when we had to fly up to Boston when we played Northeastern for a 3-game series. Everything else was pretty much busing because Charles of Charleston, UNCW, all those guys, they're bus rides. So the original premise for going into the Big House in the first place was about reducing the travel costs because it was pretty much a conference that was within North Carolina, South Carolina. But then it started imploding. Then these teams started leaving. And so they were willing to stay 1 year, but I don't think A.D. Hilton was interested in having a whole thing where we were out here. Like, I don't think they were fans when they added Bryant at the time to the Big South. You forget, Bryant was in the Big South, got added to the Big South in his final year. Then they ended up head to the CAA. And the Northern schools want them to try to split the cost of the half. Like at some point, we're going to have a more football.
Because I also say too, like Hampton didn't belong. I don't know about A&T, but Hampton didn't belong in the Big South. I mean, some folks will argue that we don't belong in the CA, but there was definitely some issues that never made the news about being in the Big South, and it had just imagine just the Big South, and there were some things that definitely happened that it was like it's time to go. So, hey, one last thing, man. If Hampton beats Elon, we can start dreaming about the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, I think if a 4-loss team in the CAA is going to make the playoffs, y'all can only afford to lose one more game.
Yep.
Like that's cut and dry, right? Y'all can only afford to lose one more game. All right, let me go ahead and get the outro out so I can get out of here before 8 o'clock. All right, so thank you for listening to Inside HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I'm David L. Rhodes. Shout out to Dr. J. Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. We hope you enjoyed it. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Cavil's Inside HBCU Sports Lab, the Indy Report. Remember to always check out the show proper every Tuesday and Thursday from 6 p.m. Central Standard Time and 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on Sundays. And I know they have a show on Friday with a bunch of other folks that do a show as well. We look forward to next week to discuss the latest news in the lab and with the HBCU Indies in Division 1. Make sure you follow us on our social media platforms. They're all posted here. Mine is Champ D1012, Big Reap, the HU Pirate Ship, and go to sneakershoptalk.com, but also follow Dr. Keanu Faville on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Follow Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook and Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Dream big and continue to move forward. We'll talk to you guys soon. Tariq.
Of course.
Brandon. Hold on. Brandon.
Lecture.
Dismiss.